Content warning. I'm going to talk about Philomena, but this is not a fun Philomena story time. This is a sad one. It was a week and 2 days before she wound up in the hospital for the last time that I took her to the OBGYN to get a biopsy. And it was taking quite a long time. I was getting nervous, so I walked up to the receptionist and I asked if everything was okay. And the receptionist assured me, but there was a look in her eye that no, everything was not okay, and I could tell. Philomena walked out of the doctor's office.
It was the first time I had ever seen Philomena cry in public.
She looked at me and she said, "Laura Marie, I want to be there for you, but I can't." She then apologized to me and I told her it was okay. We walked out to the car together.
You have to know this about my grandmother. She was very good at calming herself down. It was kind of like her superpower. So by the time we got to the car, not a single solitary tear was in her eyes.
And she asked if I wanted to go get a coffee and all of that. And I sat there in silence. And she said to me, "Doll baby, what's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong, Grams. Everything's fine." And of course, Philomena said, "Bullshit."
I explained that I didn't want to cry, and she reached out to me and said, "Doll baby, cry."
And that's when I burst into tears. And I burst into tears, she burst into tears, and then I had to pull over. It was the whole thing. I didn't want to cry because I wanted to be strong for her. She didn't want to cry because she wanted to be strong for me, and the two of us just wound up sobbing on the side of the road. In that moment, I asked her what she needed from me, and she said, "Nothing. I don't need anything from you, doll baby." She grabbed my hand, and the two of us sat there with my tiny little hands and her big ones, and we grieved for an hour and a half on the side of the road together.
That's when we realized that she was dying.
I finally start to calm down, and she says, "Laura Marie, if you allow anybody to push you over, I will haunt you." The only thing I could say was, "Yes, ma'am." And then she smiled. "What am I worried about? You're my Laura Marie. I know you'll be okay."
We needed to laugh in this moment, so I grabbed both of her hands, looked her dead in the eyes, and said, "Do you still want your ashes to be put in a coffee can?" And in typical Philomena fashion, she replied, "Where else would I want to be?" We laughed so hard. And then I said to her, "Woman, I want all of the stories. I want to sit down and I want to record them with you." Here we are, I guess.